Okay, all right, let's do some stretching. You guys should know your stretches by now, but let's start with quads. Grabbing my foot always makes me feel like my right ankle is tighter a little bit. It's always fun things to notice while we're stretching. Knees to chest. Might be a smaller group today because I think almost everybody I know is sick. Seems like. I go up and around. And maybe do a couple ones just standing in place where you go one direction, other direction, full range of motion. Notice how the standing leg is doing all of the work, activating through all of the parts, all of the sides. All right, hamstrings. And then let's do some leg swings. If you get a couple hamstring bending over thingies. Side to side, front to back, all the directions. Okay, glutes. Grab a foot or a lower part of your leg, pull it up. All right, and then lunge and reach back. Let's do a couple on each leg. We're gonna add in something else to this one. All right, now we're gonna go do the ground with one leg at a time. Reach up to one side, reach up to the other side, switch it out. Let's do like 3 on each side. Spine mobility and hip mobility all together. Okay. All right, we're gonna do lower body and shoulders today. So that's just kind of the combination that started happening while I was writing down the workout. So for the first one, let's see, let's grab one small weight, like a 5 or lighter, and then something like a 10 or 15, like just one of each of those things. All right. So for our lightweight thing, we're gonna do Y's, T's, and I's on our hands and knees. None of you guys are on the screen, so I'm gonna wait for it. Oh, okay. So one side at a time, you're gonna lift your weight forward, then at a diagonal, and then straight out to the side. And we're gonna alternate through each of those things 6 times. I want you to focus on your core, not letting your hips lean out to one side to try to balance out the weight. If your weight's too heavy that you have to lean or that you can't get full range of motion, get a lighter weight. Once you get 6 of each on one side, switch and get 6 of each on the other side. There's also one of those exercises that if you don't have light weights, you can grab like a can of something, like grab some beans. That would do the trick. Because as some of you may have noticed, with this lightweight, it's pretty hard after a couple of reps. Okay. Okay, second one. Our knees are heavier weight. And we're gonna do, let me see if NYX can get not a push-up. Okay, so we're gonna do alternating plank rows. So you're gonna have your weight right here in the middle, up on a high plank like this, and then you're gonna do a row, put it down, switch, row on the other side. Do 8 each side. When you row, try not to let your hips dip over to one side. Don't do any of that. Chris, if you're jumping into this one, we have like a 15-pound weight, something like that. Maybe 10 pound. No, not for you. Maybe 20.
I like the 10-pound idea. I'm gonna go with that.
There you go. Love your Sex in the City shirt.
Yeah. You're on my phone today because anyways.
Got it. All right, guys, 8 each side, and just be thinking about, do you maybe need a heavier weight for the next set? This is one that like the weight is a little bit lighter than a normal 1-arm row just because you're off balance. But once all your balancing muscles start firing, then maybe you can grab a heavier one. Okay. Last one in the set. This is more just like a mobility warm-up. You can do this with a weight or not. If you do have a weight, I would start without it because let your body get into the mobility first. This is frog pose, I think, in yoga, but it's also a good hip warm-up. So you want to make sure your heels are on the ground. If they're not, and you need to have your hands down to try to get your hips back. So you're thinking about trying to get your knees wide. And I want you to just kind of shift back and forth while you're here a little bit. Once you can get your heels on the ground, the goal is knees out, but torso up. That's what we're trying to work through. And then once you shift a little bit, I want you to alternate rotating one knee down, coming back out, alternating the other knee down. So we're just kind of waking up all of our hip mobility things. And if you need to do this from your hands, because it's a lot in your hips, just maybe go like this a little bit, shift over a little wider. You can get your legs, the easier it is a little bit. So whatever you need, just try to find it. And we will add weight to the second set of this. All right, that's good. Let's go back to our Y's, T's, and I's. So you're lightweight, 5 or lighter, unless you're super strong, and then maybe you can use a 7. So 6 of each rep, forward, diagonal, side. So what we're doing here is we're sort of fortifying our rotator cuffs for swimming. If you've ever had any shoulder stuff like impingement or anything else going on from swimming because either just you were picking up volume too quickly or maybe you're internally rotating your shoulders. First of all, don't do that. It's a good way to stop it. And then second of all, just working on all these muscles in your scaps in the back and towards your rotator cuffs is a good way to fortify all those muscles. You don't have shoulder pain. Focus on full range of motion, straight arms. If you do a couple of reps, even with your 3-pound weight and your full range of motion goes away, just put the weight down. The range of motion is the priority on this exercise. All right, second set of plank rows. Let's do 10 each side. Heavier weight if you can. Otherwise, go back to what you were using. 10 each side, keep alternating. Okay, once you've gotten your 10, if you didn't have a weight on the first set of the hip thingy frog pose, grab a weight. If you have something like a body bar, this is, I think, the best way to do this because it keeps your torso up for you, because that's the thing. Like if your hips are not mobile enough, how you compensate is that you lean forward, which is why everybody's squat form when they have no hip mobility kind of looks like that, which is really a deadlift. So grab your thing, do your movements, try just, if you don't and you have a weight at your chest, just try to keep your torso up as much as you can. Once you get a couple little movements side to side, go with your knees rotating in. It's always fun to find out all of the multitudes of ways that we can be tight. Most of them are in our hips. Second, most of them are in our backs. This one points out all of those things. Okay. All right, next set. We're gonna do some single leg squats, and I'd like you to do them onto something if you can. So the reason I want that is because kind of actually the thing I was just saying, how when we have no hip mobility, we tend to lean forward too much. So in this single leg squat, the reason why it's good to do it onto something like a bench is that you can make sure that your weight is shifting backwards. And then a lot of times we'll get to like here and we won't have any more strength. And then the bench is there, so you can just fall onto it a little bit. And then by picking yourself up from that depth, then you're still building the strength up the depth so that eventually you can control it the whole way down. Let's do 10 each leg. So onto a couch, onto a chair, onto anything that's a challenging yet manageable height. I'll admit this is a lot easier for short people. If you notice that your knee is wobbly, that means you need to do more hip stability, abduction and adduction. If your knee is just like, will not stop doing this internal motion, just after this, do monster walks until you can't move anymore. And then it'll solve all your problems, kind of. 10 each leg. But also do monster walks or some kind of hip abduction before you go out and run. Because if your knee's doing that now, what it's telling you is that it's doing that while you're running, you're overpronating. So if you get all of these side butt muscles engaged, it'll help your run form. It'll save your knees and all the things. All right. Are we all finding out how much these are harder than maybe we thought they were going to be? And if they're not, then we get to add weight on the second set. Okay, so next one, we're gonna grab something like a 10 or a 15-pound weight, and we're gonna do side plank flies. What that looks like. So you're gonna be in a side plank, and you're gonna take your weight, twist it under your body, let your body actually twist. It's a good oblique thing, and then come up and do a fly. Make sure that your arm stays bent. You don't want to open up your arm and overstretch your shoulder. The bent arm kind of keeps that layer of protection there for you. 10 each side. All right, once you've done your 10, switch sides. Okay. All right, guys, we're just doing these two exercises in this set. So if you survived the first set of single leg squats and you think survival is your only strategy, just do what you did again. If not, you can add weight, or you could find something lower and try to increase your depth. 10 each side again. You might notice that your balance or your knee wobbliness is a little better on the second set. Sometimes we just need to wake those muscles up. Okay. All right, and then see if you can add some weight to your flies. Remember, when you're doing flies, you want to keep your arm at the same degree of bentness throughout the whole range of motion. So it's not lead with your elbow and then extend out. It's here to here. So just think about that for your fly motion. Leading with your elbow and extending out, it's not bad for you. It's just a different thing. And it's kind of, in terms of being a fly, it's kind of cheating because you can do more weight with it because the weight isn't as far away from your body. Still 10 each side. All right. Shoulders and legs, you feeling it yet? A little bit. This next one we'll drive it home. Okay, so we're gonna have our back leg up on something like a bench or chair or something. And we're gonna do split deadlifts. So a couple things before we add weight, which this is a weighted exercise. So you're gonna want something to start with, like maybe 210s or 215s. So for split stance deadlift, the things I want you to think about is that your foot that's down doesn't actually go very far away from the bench, because the farther you go away, it forces you to open up your hips, and you want them to be exactly square facing forward. And then the other thing is, if you're too far away, you'll end up rounding this lower part of your back. And then we're just doing things to our back and not to our butts and hamstrings, which is the whole point of this exercise. So slight bend in the standing knee. Make sure you have a good not round, maybe bordering on anterior pelvic tilt, knowing that you won't actually do that. And then you're just gonna bend over, stand up. And that is our deadlift motion. You should feel this in the upper part of your hamstrings and glutes. Let's do 8 each side.
If I only have a kettlebell, can I just do heavy on one way?
Yeah.
One side?
Yeah. So if you only have a kettlebell, Chris, let me think. Hold it in the opposite hand of the foot that's on the ground, because that'll kind of do the work of squaring your hips for you. Good question.
One on the ground?
So if you have your left foot on the ground, you're holding the right. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. Before you switch legs, stand up and give your lower back a minute just to breathe. You don't want to keep the stress on it throughout this whole thing. And this is the reason we're doing single leg deadlifts in general. I am a bigger proponent of doing less reps, heavier weight, because the amount of time that we have stress on our lower back is just not great. And if we're wanting to focus on glutes and hamstrings, I say better to just do the work, the strength work, get the reps done quickly. So if you're not feeling it in the upper part of your hamstring, that probably means that you're rounding your lower back a little bit too much. You just want to think about just think about trying to stick your butt out more, actually. That'll probably do the trick. Okay, next one. We need a thing that is the height of a yoga block or a weight standing up or something low to the ground. So like this or whatever you can find. Ideally, I'd like you to do this with your back against a wall, because what you're gonna do if you don't have that is this, and then you're just doing a core exercise and then nobody cares. So this is a hip flexor exercise. So with your back flat against the wall, and I'm just gonna act like mine is, we're gonna do one leg at a time. You're gonna lift your foot up and over the block and back. So we're gonna go back and forth as one. Let's do 8 reps. If you're not against the wall, you just have to keep your back as flat as possible. And if you're having a hard time lifting your foot off the ground, that's how you know you're doing it right. So 8 of each of those. You might find out your hip flexor has no strength. And that's a good thing to know, because you need hip flexor strength to pull your leg up while you're running, to pull your pedal up while you're cycling. Also just to be alive and a human without pain. It's good to have strong hip flexors. Keep focusing on keeping your back flat. It's going to keep trying to do this kind of thing so that you can use your core. Anybody foot not lifting? You're doing good. Okay, you guys are doing pretty good. Oh, also don't bend your knees. I don't know if I said that. That's kind of cheating. Okay, let's go back to single leg deadlifts. Grab some, okay, so if you are feeling awesome and you grab heavy enough weights, you could do 6 reps each side. But only if all those 6 reps are hard. I mean, I'd prefer you to do that, but some of us just don't have heavy enough weights. That's where we're going with this. So 8-pound weights if it's only kind of hard, or 8 reps. 6 reps if it's definitely hard. Six reps if your hamstrings feel like they might actually light on fire. That's your, if there's fire involved, you get to only do 6.
Yeah, you gave me yesterday, right?
Did I give you yesterday? Sorry, Chris.
Yeah,
Chris is just lucky he gets to get super strong. Amy, you gotta stick your butt out more. Your lower back really likes to be in a posterior pelvic tilt. It's just its state of being. Okay. Amber, maybe on this set, make your thing higher. That'd be a good way to increase. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so if you have a yoga block, this is super easy to just be like, let's flip it, make it a little bit harder. Let's stick with 8 each side of those neck thingies. Should be another, I mean, I guess a theme of this workout is that waking our muscles up makes them actually work. So it might be easier on this set. Maybe your muscles are awake now. Also, if you can keep your back flat without having your hands on the ground, do that. Otherwise, if you need your hands to kind of support your straightness, that's fine. It's obviously harder without them. So do what you got to do. Amber, that's good that you're knocking it over. That means you're challenging your height limit. Okay. All right, we do not need, get some water before this next set starts. We are not going to need any equipment, which is never a good sign. Kara's feeling child's pose today. It's like a good holiday season pose. If you're ever feeling like this is a lot, just child's pose your way out of there. Just give yourself a minute. It's my strength training advice for today. Okay. So we're gonna do some jumpy fast things, and we're gonna do them all for 30 seconds with 15 seconds in between. So the things are, we're gonna do fast ice skaters. So we're gonna not worry about distance or like sticking the balanced landing. So don't start these yet. I'm gonna show you all 3 before we start, unless you want extra credit, in which case go get them. So fast ice skaters are kind of just like this. We're just like moving back and forth with some speed. Second one, we're gonna do push up with a half burpee. So you are gonna push up, back, forth, push up, 1, 2. That's number 2. And then the last one is squat jumps for height. So yes, it's 30 seconds, but instead of reps, I want you to just focus on getting up as high as you can. So 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off. Ski jumps, hang on. I gotta get a timer. Okay. Ready and go. Ten more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. All right, 15. Whew. We're gonna just walk around in little circles so that your blood doesn't pool in your limbs. Oh, we're already starting. Ready? Half burpee push up, go. Fast 15-second situation. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1. 15 seconds. Walk it around. Oh, last one is squat jumps for height. And then after this one, we're gonna take a minute. 3, 2, 1, go. You have 5 more seconds. And stop. All right, walk it off. Take a minute. Let's walk around. All right, and the next round of these, we're gonna do them Tabata style, just for fun. So if you guys haven't done Tabata before, that means 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So we're gonna do it for each of them. So we're gonna go fast ski jumps, 3 rounds, 20 on, 10 off. And then we're gonna go no break right into, 10 seconds, but that's not a break, right into the push-up burpee thing until we either die or we're done. Okay. So fast ski jumps, line yourselves up, 20 seconds, ready, go. Three, 2, 1, 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1. One more round of these. And go. and stop. 10 seconds, get down on the ground. 3, 2, 1, go. Two, 1, break. 10 seconds. 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1. All right, we got one more round of these. Rinse Tabata intervals, a good time. 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. All right, stand up. We got one more round. Ready, go. Squat jumps. 20 seconds. This is our last however much time of the day. Give it all you got. 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds off. If you're starting to feel lightheaded, wait, hang on. Ready, go. Just know that your body will pass you out before you die. So don't worry about it. That's not actually good advice. So, you know, liability and all that stuff. Maybe don't do that. Okay, stop. 10 seconds, one more round. 3, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, we're done. All right, let's walk around. Don't just stop. The whole point of a cool down is to keep moving while your heart rate is elevated, because otherwise all of the blood that your heart has been sending to your limbs will just stay in your limbs, and it'll be lactic acid and your things won't recover and it'll be crampy, but instead we're moving, so we're cycling it back through our heart and we're recovering faster. And to me, great. Now you know what a cool down is. Not that you asked. Here we are. Oh, okay. This was our last one in this round of preseason strength. So I'm gonna move to California, and then I'm gonna figure out where my new gym is gonna go, and then we're gonna do another thing, and we're gonna use more weights in the next round of these things. So maybe ask Santa Claus for some more weights.
Deal.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, Merry Christmas.